Hey y'all, what's up? Chad Wright coming at you back here once again on the channel, Team Righteous. And so today we've got our K7 GSXR 1000 here in the shop. Logan freshly rebuilt this engine, got everything in it freshened up. It's all brand new. So we have done the break-in process. I'm actually going to do a video on that there later on, talking about that. I've actually had some people in the comments asking about the proper way to break in an engine for their motorcycle, and so there's conflicting data out there, and we're going to give our opinion on what works for us. So anyways, today we're working on this bike here. Whenever we got it, it was stretched, or well, it had stretched blocks on it and no exhaust on it or anything, and it needed a new engine. So we have gotten the engine done. We got an exhaust on it now, and we are about to raise it back up because we already took the stretch blocks off. This bike right here is going to be basically more of a street bike and ridden in the curves and stuff like that with there. For anybody who wants it, we can definitely set it up with an arm and everything else once they purchase it, and we can do it any way they want to have it done. But anyways, so with that being said, whenever you stretch one, it actually raises one up and makes it sit a little bit higher in the back because of the arm being longer. It's at a positive angle, so it actually pushes the bike up a little bit. So whenever this right here was put back at stock length, it put the tire all the way up under the fender or up under the tail, and is hitting the tag bracket that was put on there. Not whenever you're just sitting on it, but once you get going down the road or going down the track or anything like that with there. So we looked at it, and it's got lowering links on there, and they're adjustable lowering links, like more than one hole, like they're fully adjustable, like you can move them up and down. But whoever put them on there didn't put them on the proper way. They're actually only adjusted on one end, so they didn't turn the center turnbuckle, which kind of lets the whole thing in and out. And the longer they go, the lower the bike goes. So we want to make them as short as possible. So I glanced at it the other night, and I really didn't pay attention to it. And so I just saw the backside, which is pretty short. Like, it's got a few more turns and it's going to be completely sucked in. And I'm like, well, that's not going to raise the bike up very much. I said, these right here are probably just too low already to begin with. I didn't even see the other side, but it was dark. We was at the track, and I was like, you know, just not looking it over or whatever. I was focusing on Dragonfly and Tulip. We're trying to make sure they were right. So anyways, yesterday when we were at Logan's shop, or 57 Motorsports East, we were at his shop with the bike, and he looked down and noticed. He said, man, these things right here are adjusted wrong. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he said, one side is adjusted all the way out, and the other side is still adjusted pretty much all the way in. He's like, that's not how they're supposed to work. And I looked down there, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize that the other night. I said, I just seen the short side, so I just assumed it was as, you know, as high as it would go back up. So anyways, we're gonna try to do this today, and we'll talk about it. But I'm gonna come around here and show y'all what I'm talking about. And so we've got actually this really awesome engine hoist that was put in this shop here years ago. I think my great uncle did it whenever he used to be down here years ago. And anyway, so we got an engine hoist that kind of goes from the length of the shop here, and we can use it to hang bikes up when we get ready to do suspension work. Like if we could lower one, raising one up, changing swing arms out, stuff like that with there, it makes it so much easier, because anybody that's ever changed out a swing arm is a pain in the ass whenever you don't have the proper ways to hold the bike up. So anyways, we're gonna flip down here, and I'll show y'all what we're working with here. All right, so as you can see here, this here is your threads that are here on this end, and then your threads here. So when I glanced down, I saw these threads here, and you know, they were short, and I'm like, well, it don't have very much more to raise back up, you know, because this end plus that end there, if it was the same as this one, would only raise it up probably an inch, maybe an inch and a half, and that's not gonna get anywhere close to stock height, which is what I'm aiming for, because I kind of want to ride this bike on the street more. And so I didn't notice it, and then Logan looked down and he sees this end here, which is really long, versus this end here, which is really short. These are supposed to be even. And it's the same way on the other side of the bike too. The one in the front is longer than the one in the back. So what we're gonna do today is I'm going to loosen this nut here, loosen this nut here, and probably pull one of these out so I can get this thing out and adjust it and make it as short as possible and try to raise this bike back up to the correct height. And the reason why we want to do that is, like I said, I'm not looking to drag race this bike, you know, any at all, for myself personally, and this bike is for sale too. But I'm basically looking to put it back at stock height. It's already been flashed by More Mafia. We got the ECU in it, so the bike runs excellent and everything. I've just, like I said, I'm not looking to drag race this bike. I've already got a race bike. So I kind of was looking for something more to ride on the street. And when I ride on the street, there's a place I like to ride that get away down there in Mexico. It's got some really good curves and stuff on it. If you look back in the channel, sometime last year, there'll be some videos of me riding out there on the GSXR 750 I used to have. And it's a really cool road. So it's about 10 or 11 miles long, the whole thing, but the main portion of it that we ride is about 7 miles long. And you know, it's got some great curves in it. Probably one of the best roads around North Alabama and Southern Tennessee for riding, you know, riding good twisty roads and stuff on. And so with that, that's the reason why, you know, I wanted to set this bike back up with the stock wheelbase and to raise it back up. And the front's actually been lowered here as well, about an inch. And if I feel like that there needs to be raised back up, if I feel like it's too aggressive, then I'll raise it back up. Lowering the front actually makes it turn in a little bit quicker. So we may not change that, but we're definitely gonna raise the back up. So anyways, once we get that there lifted up, I'll you know, show y'all what it looks like afterwards. And then we'll get out here and probably get some more video of the bike and it running and everything else. And maybe, just maybe, we can get some other cool videos and it may go somewhere else. So anyways, I'm gonna get this thing right here going and we'll see y'all soon. So we're back and we're running into a problem with these adjustable links. So I don't know how easy you can see it here in the video. The clean part here is basically as far up into the other link that's still on the bike that it will go. And then these are your two adjustment nuts that lock it in place. And then there's about an inch gap, or actually about 3/4 of an inch whenever I measured it. So there's 3/4 of an inch that it won't go any lower or any shorter, which is what we need to make the bike sit higher. I'm trying to look online and see if I can figure out what the distance is between a stock link from center to center. And so if I can get that right there, I'm going to try to put it back in the exact same spot. But either way, we have definitely got to shorten this bolt up. So we're going to take this. It's about 3/4 of an inch too long. So I'm going to cut about an inch off. That way I can make sure that I can get it to where I need it to be at. And hopefully it's going to be enough to get it to where it needs to be at to be, you know, short enough to raise the bike back up. I'm pretty sure it's going to be, it doesn't take very much adjustment in the rear to get it to where you want to anyways. And cutting an inch off is a whole lot as far as the height of the bike. So like 1 inch here is going to be probably like 3 to 4 inches or possibly even more than whenever I raise it back up. So I may not even need to cut off the 3/4 of an inch. But we're going to just go ahead and get it off anyways. That way it's adjustable to where I need it to be at. And then this other end right here, the end right here, it can back out of here as well to lower it even more if I need to. So it's definitely going to be able to be set as high as it needs to be and as low as anybody wants to put it. These things right here get very long, which lowers it incredibly too much. Like it was already, I'd say, actually where it's sitting at right now, and it don't even have the links in there. It's about where it was sitting at before. So it was already pretty much as low as you could go, and it wasn't even stretched out there very much yet. Like y'all seen earlier, this end right here, it wasn't even that far out. It was like maybe a 1/2 inch. So there was definitely way more to go in there. But anyways, where it's sitting at right now, where it's sitting at right there, that is about where it was even with the link in there. So, and it wasn't even as low as it could go with these links. It could definitely go lower. So it can go lower if it needs to, and the shock can't even go that low. Like if you go any lower with the bike than what it is right now, and possibly even like it is right now, it'll probably hit the shock anyways. It probably would have been binding the shock up with the stretch on it that they had on it, and going out there and trying to race it or anything. As soon as you would have hit it, they would have bound the shock up and blew the tire off. I ran into this issue like 3 years ago with my 06 GSXR 750. I just had the links that just had the holes in it. So basically I could either set it at where it was at, or I could set it even lower. So the links, they were terrible because they were either low or lower. There was no actual stock height hole in there, which kind of made it shitty. So anyways, I didn't have one adjustment, which was, you know, the one hole, because if I went any lower, it was binding the shock up. I didn't realize it. It took me 2 years to figure it out because I didn't drag race the bike much. Like I said, most of the time, like I said in the video that you can see, I rode it on twisty roads and stuff like that with there. But every now and then, I would throw the stretch on it. Then this has basically happened twice. I threw the stretch on it and I lowered it. And whenever I lowered it, I just lowered it too much and it would not hook. And it still went a 677 spinning. Like it would immediately, as soon as I left the line, it would blow the tire off. And it went a 677. So I would say that bike would probably at least go 650s, possibly 640s if it had enough power. I felt like it did, horsepower wise. It would run 106 mile per hour on almost every pass. Every now and then it'd click off a 107. And this was an untuned bike and it ran that. So to put that into perspective, my first gen booster that I raced last year, Yellow Jacket, it would run 650s, 640s whenever I first got it. And to compare a GSXR 750 to a Hayabusa, it actually kind of turned me off the Hayabusas whenever I first got that bike. And two, until I got the proper fuel in there that it should have been running on the whole time, which was MR12, which made a big difference. But anyways, we're gonna get to getting this very shortened up, and then I'll be back to y'all once we get the bike raised up. What's up, y'all? So we're back here at 57 Motorsports. We got the GSXR 1000, which got a new name yesterday. Kind of funny joke, but that's how all of our names come up usually. It's either some kind of a contest or some kind of something, or some kind of funny joke comes up, and that's how they get named. So anyways, I just want to give you all a little bit of an update since we last touched up on here. So as y'all seen earlier in the video, the bike was sitting way too low, which does not work for trying to ride it on the street, trying to ride through twisties, anything like that with there. So we had to raise it back up, and I did get in contact with somebody who had a stock dog bone off of an 07 08 1000. He measured it for me and told me from center to center was right around 7 inches. He said actually probably about 6 7/8 inches, but you know, we ended up actually shortening it up a little bit more to get a little bit taller in the rear. So it's a little bit taller in the rear than stock and a little bit lower in the front than stock. The front's about an inch dropped. So anyways, I wanted to be as aggressive as possible for riding twisties in the corners, and to me it done great yesterday. We took it out to Waterloo, where the Trail of Tears Memorial Ride ends at. For any of y'all that don't know about that, look into it. It's actually happening this weekend here locally. So anyways, I just wanted to go up there. There's a really good road up there that we all like to ride on, and the road's great. It's got a lot of great curves in it. It's generally a clean road except for in a couple spots. We always know where they are. So I just made a slow pass through there to try it out whenever I first got there. Made sure the road was clean in all the other spots except for where it normally is dirty at, and of course it was about like that. So when I come back out, you know, I knew where I could get it at and where I had to slow down and be prepared at. So anyways, show y'all what we did to the bike, and then I'll do a quick walk around at the end. So anyways, I'll show y'all what we did here. We have these right here, the adjustable links, and so they do adjust. The way these work is the longer you make them, the lower the bike sits down. So that's the way the suspension is set up. And There's an adjustment on both sides, and then on the right side we're on now, and on the left side over here. And so just from the center of this bolt to the center of that bolt is from the factory is roughly 6 7/8 inches to 7 inches. The guy didn't give me an exact measurement. He just told me what he come up with. He said at first he thought it was 7, then he thought it was 6 7/8. I said that's good enough for me. We'll just go with 6 3/4. So we ended up actually shortening up a little bit more, raised it up a little bit more in the back, and then the front has been lowered as well. So anyways, that got us to where we needed to be at with the bike. It done good, rode good yesterday. Also, I wanted to touch on this. The bike, it's got a More Mafia flash on it, and you know, in a lot of his videos he talks about how whenever the bike from the factory with the factory tuning in it, whenever you get on the throttle, you can feel it, and it's on the throttle and you can feel it jerk, and then off the throttle chop, and on the throttle jerk, off the throttle chop. And so whenever you're coming out of a corner, this is something you really don't want, especially whenever you're trying to be as smooth as possible. That's the way you want to be whenever you're riding the twisties. You want to be as smooth as possible. And so whenever I was coming out of the corners yesterday, it was so super smooth. And I reached out to him yesterday afternoon to let him know. I said, man, I said, I know you talk about this in your videos, and I don't think you're bullshitting, of course, in your videos, but I said, I just want to let you know this is exactly like you said. You know, it's no longer that choppy throttle that I'm used to on other bikes. Like, this is the first one I've rode on the street that's been tuned by him or flashed by him. So my Busa that I drag race was tuned by Chris Moore, but the times I have rode it on the street was like around here, and everything around here is straight. Everything around here is all square blocks, so there's nothing, you know, no corners, no curves, nothing like that. And to be able to ride it in the twisties with a bike that's actually been flashed by him, definitely you can tell the difference. So anyways, until next time, I'll do the walk around, and we'll see y'all. Oh yeah, let us know down in the comments below, you know, what kind of riding do y'all like to do? Do you like to ride twisties? Do you like drag racing, like running highway pulls? We've got a few customers that's been reaching out to us that are in the roll racing. So we got some customers from up north, and they don't do a whole lot of drag racing up there. They are more into the roll racing. And so we got one who reached out to us this morning, and he's wanting to build a first gen Busa to be able to hang with some of the other newer 1000s on the street, the GSXR 1000s, S1000 RRs, and he's kind of at a disadvantage with the first gen Busa. They're not the king of the streets anymore, and so he's wanting to do some things to make some changes to it to see what he can do to make it hang. So anyways, until next time, we'll see you. Well, we're back. So when I left off earlier in the video, I said I wasn't gonna be able to come out here and ride any because I forgot my camera yesterday. Well, I decided, hey, I want to ride again today. So I decided to bring the camera with me, and here we are. So we're out here, you know, in our location, enjoying some roads, some back roads and everything, getting to ride some twisties, and I figured I'd bring the 1000 back out and see if we can, you know, enjoy it again like we did yesterday. So I've already made a pass through here. Wanted to make sure that the road was good and clean like it was yesterday and everything. Can't ever tell, somebody may come through here with four-wheelers and side-by-sides and stuff like that up there, mess the road up. So anyways, we're gonna get a cupcake out here and see if we can make a pass.